Hey everybody. Today I am working on my week 4 Altered Index 2025 and I've got my 4¼ by 5½ inch watercolor cardstock panel. The prompt for week 4 is poetry. So I have printed out a poem in a few different fonts, but the poem that I chose is by Sophie Slozarczyk. It says, "We're all searching for something. Perhaps we're searching for peace, for love, for meaning. Yet given time, we eventually realize whatever we're searching for was within us all along." So I really liked that. And I printed it out in a few different fonts and on also parchment paper. I'm kind of leaning towards one of these ones. So I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to use. I will probably rip some of it. I've pulled out a coffee filter, some cheesecloth. I don't know what all I will use. I've got some glitter paste. We'll see how it goes, I guess. So I think to start with, I'm going to use this ruler and just tear down this side of the page. Just gives it a little bit of a more controlled tear. I don't know if I want all of them torn or if I just want the one side. The other side cut. Let me just cut the other side for a moment and see. So I've sped this up as it took me a bit to kind of play around with what look I wanted for the poem. I wasn't sure if I wanted some straight edges with a torn edge on one side, how close I wanted the tears and lines towards the poem. And as I started cutting and tearing, I realized I liked the torn look on all sides and fairly close to the words of the poem itself. I think all my cards that I've done for this challenge, I've kind of navigated to having the thing on this side. If we laid some cheesecloth, obviously I'm going to put some color and some stuff down here, but do I want a little bit of this? I've never actually used cheesecloth on a card before. So if I do that, this will be a first. Just gives some different texture. I'm not sure I like the color of the parchment, but I might. That's a maybe. You know what? Let's go ahead and cut this one as well, just for fun. Now, if I did white, I could add some ink to it. I brought out Vintage Photo and Ground Espresso. I almost just want to dip the cheesecloth in my coffee, but my coffee's too precious. Let's see. Let's stick some Vintage Photo down here. Add some water to it. And I've got my little ink smusher thingy. That might be too light. Let's add some on here. I don't know if I like that. That's maybe Nope, that doesn't work on the printed paper. I should have thought of that. I don't even know if I want that color. If I use this one, I don't know. Let's stick some on here and see. So it almost looks a little too yellow for me. Whoops. I mean, I can always use this one for something else if I don't like it. I personally tend to be drawn more to the ground espresso than the vintage photo. Personal preference, probably. I'm gonna bring in a second one of these, just play around a little bit. And I might just add some of that on here to see what it does. All right. A couple possibilities. I mean, I could also write the poem out, but that's a lot of writing, and my writing's not that nice. Don't like the end on this. It's got like the seam. Okay, this one is challenging me, guys. I should have scrunched that up in some of that ink before I cleaned the ink up. I don't know if I like that color. Oops. Just want to get this coffee filter kind of messy. Some color on there. Okay, I'm going to set this aside somewhere to dry. And add a little bit more. And I want to rub some cheesecloth in there. No clue if I'm going to use this. Okay, let's set this aside to dry. So I'm just inking up the edges of the poem here with some ground espresso Distress Oxide ink. Okay, that's looking better than the white one, actually, now that I've inked that up. That helps anyway. I feel like I want to distress the edges of this. And I don't have a nice little distress tool thingy, so I'm just gonna use my scissors. Okay. Guess I'm vacuuming later. All right, let's. Oh, rum ink. Keeping with this ground espresso. That should get some of that on there. That actually might even go crooked. And I think I want to add some glitter paste onto here. All right, I don't have a ton of stencils in my stash here, so maybe that one, or I've got these three. I use that one a fair amount, and I use this one a lot, which that would look really nice with that, but I think I'm gonna go with this one because I haven't used this one. Actually, I don't know if I've ever used this. Which one is it here? Yeah, I don't think I've ever used this one yet. So let's go for it. Now, where all do I want it? I think I might want some peeking out around the edges of this, and also some around those edges. So, push some of my junk aside here. Okay, so this was, yeah, so I want some up here. Ooh, stuff is drying out a little maybe. Some down here. I want some on like the outer edges, but not completely covering. Okay. Okay, hold up here. And maybe some over here in this corner. Okay, let me just have a peek. Let's do a tiny bit in that corner. And ooh, I'm sticking to it. Where else did I think I needed some? Maybe a little tiny bit right here. You know what? That is good. And I do apologize, there is a train going past my house right now, and it's a little loud in here for me. I don't know if it's picking up on camera much. On the microphone, I guess I should say. Oops. All right. You know what else I did not do? Is when I'm going to use a stencil, I usually bring a bucket of water into my craft room. Okay. Let's let that dry for a little moment. I'm gonna clean this up. Okay, I'm back. My stencils cleaned. I will put those aside. This still has to dry, but I am gonna bring in some mica spray. I've got the Distress Mica Spray in Tarnished Brass. Ooh, that was a squeak. And I want to add some onto here. Ooh, do I want to spritz it or do I want to... Oh, just a second. Let's practice on this one. Actually, that could work. And I also cut another piece of cheesecloth, and I wanted to see what that looks like spritzed. Kind of cover it. So I don't know what all I will use. Actually, I like the look of this one better now. Anyway, that's for something else. I just feel like it needs something else. That's too plain. Should this be backed up on? Should that have another layer on it to come on, make it stronger? That's not really gonna pop it up much, but have a few layers. Few layers that would pop it up a little more. That looks a little better. You know what? I might just glue all those together. Just saves me from having to use some what's that stuff called? Foam tape. There, gives that a little bit more dimension. I feel like it still needs something. I have a couple like textured washi tape kind of thing. Like that might be nice along there or something. I wonder if I can make that look a little more jagged. Don't want it straight. I could even layer some up. Don't really want to cover that. Oh, do I? to start with. Gonna make it somewhat jagged. Now, if that were to lay, like, say, there, that's still on top of it, that still goes there. This is kind of... Mind you, I could cut that and place it where I want, couldn't I? Let's maybe do that. Let's cut this so I can have part out each side. If I did, say, that, with that coming down there, this guy, say, like that, maybe have this out there. Do I want or need any of this one? Let's look at give it a little bit of a dirtying up there. Okay, let's let that dry. And I think let's take a little bit of glue and let's attach. Is my glue clogged? You know what? Let's just take, oops, a little bit of that. Is that where I wanted that? Okay. Let's take this one. Stick it there. That. Don't know if I want it straight on there. Don't want it angled. that should be on there. Is that roughly where I want it? Sure. There. And this one, how about there? Did I don't think I stuck this one down, did I? I mean, it's kind of sticking to the texture paste a little, but glitter paste there. That just off center. Almost needs now a little bit extra. On this side. Okay, now I stick that down. Do I add anything else or do I just leave it? Well, to start with, let's glue this down into place. I do have my card base to adhere it to. Oh, I still feel like it's missing something. Actually, let me look back in this ephemera pack that I pulled those couple things out, but there are some tiny pieces. There were some little hearts. Maybe something like that would add just a little bit. What is that one? There's also that one. What else do I have? I've got a star and another star. I've got love. So a lot of these things don't really work for it. There's another little heart. That's kind of what I was thinking. Possibly those hearts. What about oh my gosh, my glass mat is really sticky right now. I'm not sure I care for the gray. What I could do. Don't just want to do two either, right? Supposed to do like odd numbers of things. Well, let's just put them there because I'm gonna sit here forever and try to figure out this placement. Kind of like it in that corner, but I don't know that I like it like on that stuff. So I guess this one's gonna win. All right, so that is basically that. And now I'm just going to stick it onto my card base. Goop it up real good there. And where did my lid go? So here is the finished card. This is my Altered Index card for 2025, and it is week 4 poetry. That one was a challenge for me, but I got her done. Hopefully you guys are enjoying creating your Altered Index 2025. Thanks for watching and see you next time.